So there's one that stands out in my head, which is the discussion about the depth illusion or tilt. So was it Vernon or was it Marlo?
It was Vernon, but it was also Marlo. So what happened with the depth illusion is, and this is not a cop-out answer, I will happily dig into this for you. So Vernon had been showing around the depth illusion in New York to his small circle. And there were people that were moving between the Vernon and Marlowe circles and other card magic circles back then. Bill Simon was one of them. And so Vernon came up with it, shown it around. And so did Marlowe came up with it. And actually, Pat Page once said something in the first ever lecture I attended that really stuck with me, which is if you want to tell whether somebody stole a trick or a move, ask them the history of how they created it. There's always a story of how they came up with it. And Marlowe did have a story of how he came up with it. He was playing with a Clinton Burgess move, and he came up with what he called tilt. Actually, it wasn't even Marlowe that named tilt. It was Carmen D'Amico gave it that name. But still. So Marlowe independently created this very simple, basic card move, and so did Vernon. Now, here's where the problem lies. Marlowe published his little estimation booklet. It was a tiny little booklet. And he did give credit to Vernon. He said that Vernon was working on a similar thing. Marlowe knew about Vernon's move, but he still published it. He didn't seek permission. We kind of have to give Vernon credits. One of the things I constantly hear, this is sorry, really nerdy, but one of the things
This is great.
I constantly hear people say that Marlowe rechristened Vernon's depth illusion name to Tilt. Well, that's not true because actually Vernon's depth illusion wasn't published until the Paul Bearer's Review in the 1970s. So Marlowe actually was the first to publish Tilt, but they both kind of created it at the same time. But where it gets really complicated in the 90s, John Rockerbomber republished Marlowe's Tilt manuscript, and he did the most ridiculous thing and rewrote Marlowe's intro, and he removed the credit to Vernon from Tilt. So because there are only, I think, something like 150 copies of Marlowe's original manuscript published, we assume that Marlowe neglected to credit Vernon, but actually Marlowe did credit Vernon. Rockerbomber removed the credit, rewrote a lot of this stuff in that Tilt manuscript to make it very hard to understand the history. And then in Rockerbomber's other works, he would say things like, Marlowe did eventually acquiesce credit to Vernon for the creation of depth illusion. That's not true. Marlowe actually said Vernon was working on a similar thing. So, long answer for a short question, but
No, that's fascinating. I didn't know any of that.